Right, Disney acquisition.
Acquisitions. Let's get this party started.
Let's get this party started. It's all silent.
Well, there's obvious news of the fucking Star Wars acquisition. The fact that that's the massive news that's been going on at the moment. You know, you can't walk 5 minutes down the street without hearing someone ask you about it or tell you about it, especially if they know you're part of nerd culture. So, you know, not to label ourselves or anything, but I'd like to say that we're passingly familiar with the subject. So, how do you guys feel about the whole situation?
You know how they have all these video game crossovers like Square versus Disney and Marvel versus Capcom. Disney versus Marvel versus Star Wars.
Star Wars versus Avengers.
Yeah, it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna be whatever. Everybody said this about Marvel, and it hasn't happened. The only extent to which it's happened is that there's a Phineas and Ferb episode that's coming up, apparently, where they meet with the Marvel heroes. And also, if you go into a Disney store, they have Marvel action figures and Marvel toys. And that's not really a major sort of...
There was also one other aspect. When Tron Legacy was about to go out, there was like a series of Marvel comics that featured iconic superheroes like Spider-Man, Iron Man, the Hulk, I think, and all of them were wearing like Tron-style uniforms, which, to be fair, looked like ass. So
Yeah, I mean, I really don't see anything wrong coming out of this because, it's already happened where Disney's bought Marvel and they're letting Marvel do their own thing. So I really see this as like a continuing trend with Lucasfilm, and who knows? Maybe with George Lucas having a limited involvement, maybe the movies coming up will actually be good.
That could be cool. The only thing I worry about is that there's all these rumors flying around about how Mark Hamill's been contacted, and you know,
how Harrison Ford said he'd be interested in reprising the role. It's like Harrison, we gotta talk. Remember Indy 4? Yeah, so do we. No.
Well, one of the problems with Indy 4 was I didn't really feel it was so much like him, but just the writing in general. They didn't really give that much for him to do. I mean,
He wasn't.
they pretty much
he was
gave
not
all the
Indy.
Indiana stuff to what's his face, the franchise killer.
Shia
Yeah,
LaBeouf,
Shia
franchise
LaBeouf, he's the
killer.
franchise killer.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
shit.
everybody mentions Shia bitchface, but what about Ray Winstone, who just turns up in that movie for no reason whatsoever? You know, it's like, and then right at the end, he does that whole bit where he's like, "I'm gonna be all right, Jonesy." It's like, fuck off! We don't know who you are. What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's like the entire movie. I'm working for the Russians. Oh, how could he, son of a bitch? No, I was actually a double agent. I'm a triple agent. I'm a fourth agent.
I'm working for the Indians.
Yeah,
He doesn't know what he is anymore.
it's like Mr. Plinkett said. Did Indy have head trauma? Why didn't he just fucking tie him to a tree or something, you know, and leave him there?
Yeah, but he's working for the Americans. He's working for the Russians, and he's a fat Cockney geezer. Who in their right mind? Who in their right mind looked at the profile list and said, "Hey, you know what? We need a spy, and this guy fits the bill. Overweight, can't speak for shit, you know, can't lie for crap. Well, we're gonna sign this guy up."
He's British, so he's perfect for a double agent. Hell,
I mean, it worked so well with James
you
Bond.
might as well bring Short Stack back.
Short stack.
Short round.
You know what? No, short stack.
We'll bring Short Round back. Dr. Jones, I'm working for the Russians.
It's like, I never expected this, kid. Not you. Anyone but you.
Honestly, that would have actually fared a little better if they were going to do that whole double agent shit, because you actually know who the fuck Short Round is.
My problem is that I just have this image of, like, you know, Han Solo and Leia and you know, Luke Skywalker all coming out on Zimmer frames. Like, are you ready to go one last time? Right behind you, Han.
Chewbacca's like.
Chewbacca's in an iron lung.
Chewbacca's been put down by the vet. The old dog just couldn't stand up anymore. Had to take it in, put it out of his misery. Take it out, back to the shotgun. Bang!
The old Chewbacca spin-off children's story.
But I worry that that's going to happen. Because let's face it, all of these actors, they're no stranger to begging for a paycheck. Mark Hamill, who's turned up in more than his fair share of shit, as I've told you guys as well. So I would not be surprised if he ended up.
The thing with their involvement that I'm imagining, at least, is that at least one of the routes that they can take this is that as much as it might suck, they might take the whole, hey, let's have their kids go on adventures so that the older actors will just
But that
like,
was already done in the expanded universe. There's like this kind of bullshit Brazilian soap opera going on where it's like, Luke and some other chick's kid, he turns into a Sith, and like Han Solo's son, he also turns into a Sith, and like the Emperor gets cloned. I'm not shitting you on this one. The Emperor actually gets cloned.
Oh yeah, I read that cracked article too.
Yeah, and Luke's son like joins the Emperor, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going in circles. So that's retarded.
I'm glad
Basically,
that
gonna be repeating history is what they're gonna be doing then.
Yeah, but that's what George attempted to do with the prequels, It's like it's like poetry. It rhymes. You fucking hack, Lucas. You don't know what you're talking about.
But the thing you have to remember is that sand. It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere. I don't care how good an actor you are, or how bad an actor you are. You can't split that line anyway. And what's it they said to him originally when they did the first few Star Wars? You can sure write this shit, George, but you can't as hell say it.
He wrote the first one, but didn't someone else didn't he have like a creative consultant or something for the writing?
No, he was the creative consultant for the second and third ones, but they were actually written and directed by different people.
And Georgie wasn't even satisfied with The Empire Strikes Back. He thought that was the weakest of the original trilogy. Probably
because it was more complex and he couldn't understand it.
But let's not forget, guys, that the best line in the second movie is, Han Solo's "I know," which is completely ad-libbed. That wouldn't have existed if George Lucas had had his control over it.
George Lucas had been like, "No, you can't say that. You gotta say, I love you too, sugar pie."
And then you have to make out, even though you're about to go into like a big common thing. I'm gonna put your heads together. That's how I direct. I'm director.
And then you whine a little bit about how you feel. I feel so angry right now, Leia.
We do have those fears about Star Wars, and I do think that all these things are real, and George Lucas could always. But I actually think George has changed as a human being. I mean, the guy donated. You probably saw something I wrote recently. He donated about $4 million of all of his Disney dollars from the Disney acquisition to charity.
$4 billion.
$4 billion to charity. You know what? That is not something done by a man who, let's look at it this way. The thing about George Lucas is that unlike James Cameron, who has decided to be really stubborn and say, well, I was right and the world was wrong, that's why I'm, not going to put any money into charity. George Lucas, who has come out and given all of the money to charity, who was already in, I think it was this year, given up the land that he was going to use as a set as low-income housing to people in California. That's fucking great.
Yeah, and plus the $4 billion actually went to education, which is nice.
Exactly.
It's like he's going, sorry for Jar Jar Binks, here's another $4 billion.
It's not even that. It's probably that he feels that he doesn't deserve all the praise that he gets. Like, oh, George Lucas is such a genius for creating Star Wars and everything. And I suppose this is sort of him doing this one noble thing that he hopes people will remember, as opposed to the prequels and the blatant whoring out of Star Wars as a franchise, which is a bit noble, like William said. It's still better than James, I'm the king of the world, Cameron, who's making 17 last time I heard Avatar sequels.
James Cameron's an arrogant cunt.
Yeah, I just had this image when you said I'm the king of the world. I started thinking of the Jungle Book, the king of the swingers. Like George Lucas's head is on Mowgli, and James Cameron's head is on King Louis, and he's just like, I want to be a tiger.
You, yeah, exactly. I want to be like you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually thinking of Titanic. It'd be like James Cameron in the front of the ship, and Leonardo DiCaprio just pushes him right off the front. I'm the king of the world. Fly, bitch.
I'm hoping the return of Star Wars, it might actually cast a big shadow over Avatar, because I cannot express just how much I do not want that to succeed. I've had a lot of arguments recently with people who are like, I said it looks bland, because it does look bland. It looks
does. Like first of all, it's about the Dances of Wolves with Smurfs. I mean, come on.
Yeah. People
Dances of the Wolves, Pocahontas, and even the design of the characters is basically take the Smurfs and make them furries, and then you have the Na'vi.
Well, I mean, basically, I praised that movie in like a review back then. Yeah. I probably knocked back a few too many bits of rum when I did that.
Oh, Ken, we forgive you. You just got to pay us $4 million now.
So I want to be just like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you do. You see, it's true. An ape like me can learn to be human too.
Hey guys, if you like this episode of the CCS Video Podcast, please like, favorite, share, subscribe, tweet
tweet, twat, Facebook, and email this link to all your friends. Also, if you liked our debate on the Star Wars Disney acquisition, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Have a debate. Have some fun. Also, if you think we're a bunch of idiots and that you hate our opinions, also share these thoughts below. We don't mind either way. If you guys like our show and want to see our previous episodes, why not take a look at the link below, where we talk about the idiocy of fanboys. I like that episode because I wrote fan fiction once. Why not also check out the past episode I did on my own individual show, Game Jams? Yeah, that's right, the boring guy on the CCS podcast has a show of his own. And to join him is super awesome co-host, Kay.
That's right, I'll draw the derpy pictures and throw around a bunch of music nobody's ever heard of. So that means you can't just post a bunch of Mario and Pokemon remixes over and over again anymore.
That's right, KK is a super awesome Sega fangirl, and she's going to be the new co-host of Game Jams. So, if you guys like these videos, please take a look. But thank you for watching this awesome episode of the CCS Video Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
It's gonna be magical!